So I know I'm making a bold claim saying that this device right here is the greatest pedal board ever. This is the Daddario XPND Pedalboard. It's spelled quite strangely, I might add. The XPND, I think that's the way it is, right? My initial thoughts about this pedal board were that it's a gimmicky, kind of crappy product. I think whenever we see anything that promises to do as much as it promises, we get nervous. And then on top of that, the fact that it has so many moving parts, and us as guitar players, we know that we have to like stomp on it, and it has to be able to house a bunch of very expensive stuff, we get nervous. So check this out. This picture right here is the first incarnation of the pedal board. Now, the thing was, I was like, okay, I don't love this because it's a little too wide. I definitely thought it was too wide, and I just wanted it to be a little smaller. So, beautiful thing about this pedal board is I just squished it down and did this. Now the problem became that I didn't have the right wires and cables to be able to fit in such small crevices. So I am still working on that solution. And I have found a couple solutions with that MIDI board, but we'll get into that in another video. So ultimately, this is what my pedal board came out to be. Okay, the cool thing is that even though this pedal board is huge and there's a lot of stuff on it, I still feel extremely confident in holding it up straight like this. You know, it's actually, instead of me holding it up like this, let's go over to the guitar cam usually, but in this case, it's the pedal board cam. So this is how my signal's kind of running right now. I've got my 1,000-year-old Line 6 Relay G50. It's not actually 1,000, but it might as well be. In pedal years, it's 1,000. It's about 13 years old. I still use it every single gig. The signal then runs underneath the board into my Crybaby, and I wanted to use an analog kind of like Crybaby just in front of my modeler. I'm still not convinced I'm gonna leave it this way. I may replace it with an expression pedal and link up with the Quad Cortex, but I kind of like the simplicity of no matter what, I can always get my wah effect. Then the signal continues into the input one of the Quad Cortex. Now, from there, this is the fun part. I'm actually running the send and return, the effects loop of the quad. I'm actually running my talk box into the effects loop so that the quad can turn it on and off. Why? Here's why. Playing with a lot of different bands, I actually keep a drop tuner in the quad, so if I need to go to E flat at a moment's notice. And I was in a band one time that needed to do Living on a Prayer in E flat, so I hit the drop tuner on in my modeler. It wasn't the quad at the time, but I went to do the talk box part, and the talk box was still in E because it was in front of my modeler. So now what's cool is because I rigged the talk box into the effects loop, if I want to drop tune everything, it includes the talk box, which makes me very happy. Then from there, I'm running into the MIDI in, all underneath the board, all the way over to here, I'm running the MIDI Captain. And the MIDI Captain is an insane little piece of gear that actually just deserves its own video, honestly, because it is absolutely insane the amount of stuff you could do with it. Right now, I'm only running it in the most simple way that most people run into a Quad Cortex, and that is I have this taking care of all my scenes or snapshots if you're a Helix person. I have this taking care of all my scenes, and then I have the quad taking care of all my stomp boxes. So I kind of have the hybrid mode that we're all dying for with the Quad Cortex. Now, I really hope that I can get enough low-profile cables that I can put the quad on top of this and move everything way closer, because I can literally cut this board probably in half to here. But I will tell you, one of the annoying things is about this board is that because of this lip, if you have something that's as big as the quad and you're putting it on this side, you have to have the board this open because it can't sit over the height of this crease. That's one thing that's a little annoying. It just so happened to work out in this situation for me. And now this is all powered by one Chox DC7, and then I have the package of the Chox Crux right here. This is meant to power a Podgo, a Line 6, HX Stomp, HX Stomp XL, or even a Quad Cortex. And it basically just gives you a dedicated power supply. So basically you don't have to daisy chain a bunch of the wires together and waste like 4 separate inputs on your power supply. And because of that, I'm able to power everything on this board all at once. So that is my new pedal board. My plan is to be able to make everything way more low profile eventually, but this is the starting point. The cool thing about this pedal board is that it is super sturdy, it's super adjustable, and you're not married to one size board. It's actually a real game changer. I didn't want to believe it, but I do. So if you want to pick up literally almost everything on this pedal board, check the links below. It'll all be there. It's no extra cost to you and it helps support the channel. And if you want to see why I bought the Quad Cortex and decided to go with it, check that video out right here.